Well, Veronica, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out for the program today. Looking forward to getting into it.
Okay, me too.
So let's begin our journey. I always start with the COVID question. It was such a big deal 6 years ago. It changed our lives, changed our world. How did you get through that COVID era, and how has it influenced the way that you live and work in 2026?
God, that's a good question. So that is a big point for me because I was working with my husband. We had a medical wellness practice, and we were fortunate that we were already in the process of selling our brick and mortar business. And I was in this state of I need to get out of Florida. I need a change. I need something different. And we moved to Virginia, a northern up northern Virginia. So long story short, what happened for COVID for me was I made a big pivot and I started marriage relationship restart. So we had a brick and mortar medical wellness, and I thought, you know what? My passion is helping women like myself turn their marriage around like I did. And so I went fully online, and that was the start of of me helping women and couples around the country.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, and you know, so I'm a relationship coach. I consider myself a relationship expert, and I didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
And my life changed to the moment my daughter, who was then 4 years old, asked me, Mommy, you and Daddy argue every day. Will you make it stop? And the moment she did that, something just, I broke open and something wiser came out. And that was, I have got to stop escalating the arguing. My husband's a physician. I'm an attorney. We were locked in a battle weary one-upping war. And I wasn't aware of that. You don't Most people, when they're arguing and bickering, they're not thinking of safety for their children. They're in that unconscious reactive part of the brain where it's just fight or flight, And so when she told me that, that was the big wake up call for me. And when I knew I couldn't change it. We can't change our husbands. We can't control another human being. We can barely control our kids up to the age of 3 years old. And then it's consequences redirect, there's no controlling of another human being. And so I thought, okay, I have got to stop whatever it is that I'm doing. And I talk about this in my book, Don't Throw in the Towel Yet. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
where I came up with the stop, drop, and roll baby technique that is the best de-escalation conflict technique that I know of, that helped me center myself, stop the escalation of arguing, and basically saved my marriage. And so that was always percolating, but old habits die hard. And stop, drop, and roll. Do you remember the stop, drop, and roll back in the
Oh, of
70s?
course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's it. Like, it was the firefighters would, they come into the elementary schools and they would tell the kids, hey, if you're on fire, and back in the 70s, their clothing, their toys, their blankets, their curtains, everything was flammable. And so they would tell the kids, if you catch on fire, you have to just stop.
Uh-huh.
Don't fan the flames. Don't drop what you're doing. And that's basically what I did. So stop, and then they tell him, okay, drop out of the smoke. You got to drop to the floor, to the ground, because you got to be able to breathe. If you stay up there, you're going to die from inhaling the smoke. And then they tell them to roll themselves into a carpet or to a rug to extinguish the flames. And so that is what I created for couples. I teach them how to stop escalating the argument, and I tell my wives, I have these workshops where I tell them, hey, put your hand over your mouth. You have to shut up. Fighting takes two people, so you have to put your hand over your mouth and stop. And then you've got to drop out of the battle zone because if you stay in the battle zone, the marriage dies, the respect dies, the connection dies. You have to physically, hello, I'm sorry, I have to leave. I don't want to talk this way and move and leave. And then you have to roll into self-care and self-love. And then I help them make a list of what that means. We have to take care of our emotions, our body, our spirit, And so in my workshops, I help them come up with that list so they have it. So they're not having to think, what do I do now that I'm in a safe moment? What do I do? And I help them roll into self-care. And every time I did that, I collected bits and parts of me that were just shut down, that were just fragmented. And so and it's not easy. And I know I just jumped into this, but it's
No, you're
like
good.
the
You're good.
story of my life. Um, and I think everyone needs to know that it works and it's not easy. But when you look at the consequences, and for me, it was remembering that image of my daughter's torn face. I just would pick myself up again and stop, drop, and roll until it became a spiritual practice for me. And that's what I do. I help wives and couples look at their marriage as a spiritual practice, and they take radical responsibility for their side of the street for the benefit of themselves and their family.
So let's find out how we got here. Take me back to when you were a kid. What did you want to be when you grew up? What was your ultimate dream job?
I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I always thought about, I want to be a teacher. Went to undergrad, went to law school, and I thought, shucks, I never got the teaching degree. And what could I teach? What could I possibly teach? But it was always in the back of my head. And so I'm teaching relationality.
Absolutely.
I am a teacher and I teach people how to de-escalate the conflict in real time. And I teach people how to relate. And to me, I'm living my passion and my purpose.
So take me back to where you were born and raised. What were the foundational elements and seeds of you evolving from law to helping people with their relationships? What did you see in your life relationship wise? What were the things that were taught consciously and subconsciously to you that has evolved from teacher, law, marriage, and relationships? How did all of this become you?
Oh my God, that's such a great question because I only could tell after looking back and seeing all the cookie crumbs. But I was born I'm a first generation American citizen. My parents are from Mexico, and my dad joined the service to become a citizen. So I grew up and was born in Germany. And my parents were young and they had children very quickly. So they're living abroad and they had three younger kids.
Wow.
And there was no family support. And I'm a person, and I didn't know this then, but now I'm a person that thrives on harmony. I'm a peacemaker. I'm a natural peacemaker. And so my parents fought a lot. And that is all I knew. They loved each other deeply, but there was constant conflict. And fast forward now I find the man of my dreams. I'm 30 years old and he met everything on that list. He's a doctor, check, financial security opportunity, check. He has green eyes, check. He likes the Dallas Cowboys, check, check. Like he likes the opera and he loves, the symphony. Oh my God, it was intoxicating, this man. So we had a whirlwind love affair and we're married. He asked me to marry him 2 months after we met. And 7 months later, we were married. And now we just celebrated on February 19th, 26 years.
Nice.
So, so I went to law school after I'd gotten married because I realized, oh, wow, people are litigious. And my husband, he knows how to help people through medicine, but he's not a business person. I have a business degree, but I got to really get smart. So I went into law school, and I'm a licensed attorney in the state of Florida. And I wanted to do family law. I couldn't do family law because my own battle-weary marriage, it was so exhausting to me. I couldn't imagine then having to help people and, dissolve their marriage when I'm stuck in this, should I stay or should I go? And so I lived in that should I stay, should I go dilemma for about 9 years of my marriage. And I wanted a child. So by our 10th year, I got pregnant. Then four years later, my daughter's begging me to make the arguing stop. And so when I did the stop, drop, and roll, and I started turning, I had a lot of, I was eating voraciously every relationship book and taking every relationship course. My husband was not open to going to therapy or doing anything about our marriage because he didn't have the problem. It was me. So I decided, well, I have to take matters into my own hands. And so I just started collecting all these certifications. I'm a life coach. I'm a board certified health and wellness coach. I'm a happiness trainer. I'm a Qigong instructor. I just kept doing anything. I went to India. I did anything that I could to ultimately what I was looking for was how do I surrender this resentment? How do I surrender this pain? And I eventually did it. And then I learned, what did I do? Like how did I turn my marriage around? I did everything. Really, it was coming back home to myself and finding my truth and empowering myself. And I also met with Terry Real. He's my mentor. I don't know if you've heard of Terry Real. He's an internationally known relationship and family therapist, and he's written many books. And I learned from him about the power imbalance between couples, and that when couples are in the center of health, they can communicate. And that so now looking back, I'm an attorney that took all these courses, relationship courses, became a divorce mediator, and now the author of Hey, Don't Throw in the Towel Yet. Um, it's just I just kept following the cookie crumbs and looking. And while I was searching for my truth, it led me to all I followed this path, but really what I what I did is I found my truth within. I was chasing it everywhere outside of myself. And so when I got to this point of I know I'm not the only woman who's done this. I know there must be so many women that are stuck in, should I stay? And if I stay, what does that mean? Do I live in misery? Do I have to forfeit my life for my children? If I go, do I screw up my kids? Do I break up my family? Is there something else I could be doing? And so I lived with that, and ultimately I found my answers, and I found my truth. And that's exactly what I do. And I help people discover for themselves. I don't want them to take that 20-year battle weary road that I took. It's helped me now with the ability to help people. But this book is for the battle weary wife who is stuck in should I stay and should I go. It talks about my story. It talks about the 11 techniques that I used to turn my life around to search within it and find my truth. And it specifically talks about stop, drop, and roll because that was the through line for me. Whenever I would deregulate, I would stop. And then I would drop into the present moment. And then I would roll into self-love and self-care. So I use it to help couples de-escalate, and I use it even to help myself stop over-functioning, stop over-accommodating, stop over-allowing, stop self-erasing. So it's stop, drop, and roll helps on the outside. and it helps on the inside. And so I had to write this book and do what I'm doing.
So, in these different incarnations of your professional life, finding your real foothold now, who has been that inspirational force that's allowed you to find your place?
My driving inspirational force is my daughter.
Yeah.
I did not want her to grow up outsourcing her love and trying to get love and validation from the outside like I was doing. And I wanted her to see a woman empowered, living a fully expressed life. So she is what really helped me wake up and keep showing up for myself.
So, in the history and lore of art, love is always the cornerstone. It's always the ballad, it's the song, it's the painting, it's the movie, it's the TV show. What's your favorite love story?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I don't think I have one anymore. I think everything that we're sold and we see is I'm a Hallmark girl. I love Hallmark movies. Though love is so beautiful and it's also brutal. And I think what happens is we just buy into this rose. He's the white knight in shining armor. He's going to complete me. I used to love what's that movie with Renee Zellweger and Tom Cruise?
Oh,
Um,
the money one, the Show Me the
Tell Me
Money.
the Money.
Oh, Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, Jerry Maguire. Oh my God, I was the one in the theater, like, just bawling my eyes out when he came in and he's like, "Hey, I was looking for my wife to tell her what happened." And I'm just like I was swept away in that movie, sniffling, and then I hear this lady, "Oh my God, therapy." And I was like, "Well, that's a rude lady. She ruined that moment for me," but it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
I feel like the love stories, um, I've the love story is the love I have for myself and for my husband and for my daughter and for
Yep.
people.
Yeah. Very well said. So, being in this line of work, you have to walk into some murky waters with clients. There's a lot of things that can be dark and negative. How do you ground yourself? How do you keep your energy high to change lives and then take care of your soul and your relationship and your life? What is that collective energy when that alarm clock goes off in the morning? Feet on the ground and doing it at a high level.
That's a great question. There's like multiple questions within that question.
Yes.
I love going deep in the trenches with my clients. It for me, it is exciting. It's exciting because I get to witness that phoenix. I get to witness that aha moment, the moment that they go when they just drop that belief that they've been operating under and they are and you see the ricochet and they're like and they're resetting, it's recalibrating how they've been and who they were. I live for that. But you ask a very good question. We have to take responsibility for our energetic, I call it energy hygiene. And I wrote about it in my book. And in my book, it's part two of my book. I have those 11 techniques. One of them is how you release the negative energy. And I have these little QR codes within each of those 11 chapters that talk about the techniques. And one of them is just showing them exactly what I do in between sessions. I am constantly my focus is always within my body. I keep this energetic force field around myself at all times. And I respect that and I respect the clients that I'm with. And so I dry brush after every client so that I am my energy force is protected and I can stay in the seat of my soul of presence, in the present. And so for me, being present and cutting the energetic cords is what I do with energy hygiene. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
makes total sense. So let's go back to that younger version of you that wanted to be a teacher. And let's say you have a dream and you walk in at your age now with everything that you've done, and you have a big book in your hands, and it's a coffee table book of your life, of everything that you've done, accomplished, the choices, the evolution, and you hand it over, would that young version of you believe that this journey has transpired to this point?
No way. I think I love that we don't know that. I think about that often. As I go back and I talk to younger versions of myself and I give them the love and I tell them, this is the truth. Look at us now. You're fine. You're going to get through this. But if I would have said, here's the grimoire of our life, I would have just splatted because I would have never wanted, I would not have imagined that I could have lived through the trauma and the gut-wrenching moments in my life that I would not even want to, I'm, yeah, I always think about that. I think it's the unique design that we don't know. And we just have to learn to trust ourselves, trust that we're going to be okay, stay connected to our truth, and be as much as we can in the now moment, not at all in the future because we can't control or predict the future, and not in the past because we can't do anything about what happened. So just if I stay centered in this now moment, that's all I wish I could tell myself. Hey, no matter what, you're gonna be okay. Just stay in the now moment. That's what you can control. Your in breath, your out breath, as long as you're in this now moment. Or focus on your in breath. We can't control when that ceases to exist, but focus on your in breath, your out breath. Keep your focus on your body. Stay in the moment, and you will be okay, even better than okay.
The one thing about life, whether it's our relationships, our marriages, whatever it is, it's those little things that are done in that relationship that mean the most. I mean, it's kind of the antithesis of Tom Cruise yelling, "You complete me," with tears in his eyes. It's not those big moments, it's the little ones. What is one of the tiny small things that your husband does that he may not know that he does that totally inspires you every day?
Oh, there's a lot of little things, and that kept me in that. It kept me going too. He would be the other person. Uh, he he's kind. As much as we argued and battled, no matter what, he went to work. There were times I couldn't get out of bed. He went to work and provided for us. And he does little things like gasses up my car or takes my car to the dealer. He does all the things that I don't even, it's like he does it. I feel so fortunate because I'm not having to do it. I'm not having to deal with the contractors. I'm not having to deal with the auto mechanics. I'm not having to talk. He does the masculine things so well. And I often, and that is so, means so much to me. So I get to just be in that feminine, creative, connected place and nest and cook dinners and I get to be feminine because he's doing all the masculine things,
Yeah.
and that feels good. Even hanging up frames,
Yeah.
he's the one that does all that.
Sure. So let me ask you this. When you look in the big rear view mirror of your life and you look back on everything that you've done and evolved to and overcome, what are you ultimately the happiest about, the proudest of?
I'm so proud that my daughter is proud of me. She's 15 years old now, and the fact that she goes, "Mom, you're such a great mom," and it just. It just means everything to me that she respects me, that she loves me, she wants to be engaged with me. You know, um, that's my proudest moment, that
Yeah.
I'm a really good mother.
Yeah. I love it. So let me ask you this, Veronica. Everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients, everyone that gets your book, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'm a love creator. I'm a love creator. I've been a love creator my whole life. I didn't know it until my spiritual coach told me. I I love flowing love to people. and I love doing loving things for people. And I love that about myself. Not everybody's a love creator. That is okay. There's, there's transformers and there's all kinds of beautiful people, but I create with love. Everything I do is with love.
So don't throw in the towel yet. There's a wisdom deck that comes with it that has parts of the book that are in there. Talk about that.
Thank you for asking me about that, Joe. I this book is so I wish I had these cards when I was going through should I stay or should I go. But these cards are they help her slow down and connect back into her truth and her intuition, which is where her wisdom and strength is. So, a lot of battle weary wives, what are battle weary wives? We're the ones that are carrying the emotional load in our marriage. We're tired of the fight, of the struggle. Well, I don't fight so much. I just withdraw and avoid. That's battle weary too. Being in avoidance is battle weary. It's exhausting to not deal with what's in front of you. So when she pulls a card, she can pull any card, and it helps her bring herself back home to herself. Sacred self-respect. And so she's to pull this card and she reads it. You're in a season of redesign, one that calls for maturity, openness, and sacred self-respect. And she can hold to that card and just sit with it and see what stirs within her. My job and my goal is to help my battle weary wife slow down because most of us are distracting ourselves from the pain that's within. And so we're doers, we're accomplishers, we're achievers. We're learners, we're fixers. So we don't have time to slow down and connect into our source of truth. And so these cards are born out of that and they relate back to my book. So if she has my book, she can go to the chapter. So say she pulls magnetic worth, she reads it, and then below it, you can't really see because my thing is blurry, but it'll say you can read chapter one.
Yeah.
This is related to chapter one. I'm sorry about that. Was that my phone? It sure was. Sorry about that
No, you're
alert.
fine. No, you're good. So if anybody wants to pick up the book, they want to pick up the wisdom deck, they want to reach out, they want to hire you, they have questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
Oh, please visit me at marriagerelationshiprestart.com. And I would love for your readers to join my watch list. My book is released on June 2nd of 2026. And they can do that by going to marriagerelationshiprestart.com/book. And they can download a sneak peek today, which I would love for them to read. It's my one of my favorite chapters.
I love it. And I will put all of those links in the show notes. This has been absolutely wonderful. Veronica, thank you for your story. Thank you for the work you're doing. This has been wonderful. Great to meet you.
Oh my God, Joe, thanks for having me. I love your energy. I love
Thank
what
you.
you're doing. May I invite your readers? If there's a battle weary wife that just so happens to be listening to your show, because I know you talk a lot about a lot of variety of things. But
Yeah.
if there's this one woman who is like, I resonate with what Veronica's saying, I would like to invite her to my turnaround weekend, and I think I'll give you the link to sign up, and she can do that for free.
Okay.
And I have it, I limit it to 30 people. So the first 30 people who sign up for it's maxed out. But I would love for her to join us.
Okay. And I will put that link when you send it over in the show notes. This has been wonderful. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you so much. Again, it's wonderful to meet you and best of luck with everything with the release of the book.
Thank you so much, Joe. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you.